What if the very vegetables you've trusted for decades, the ones you've put on your plate, believing they were keeping you strong, could quietly set you up for a stroke while you sleep? No pain, no warning. You're reading a book in your favorite chair, or maybe watching the evening news. You turn in for the night, feeling good about your healthy dinner. And by morning, you can't lift your arm or form the words you're trying to say. That may sound dramatic, but I've seen it happen more than once in my 20 years as a neurologist. I'll never forget Mrs. Carter, a 68-year-old retired teacher who came into the emergency room one Tuesday morning. She'd woken up unable to move the right side of her body. The night before, she'd had what she thought was the perfect, heart-healthy dinner. A tall glass of green smoothie with fresh spinach, a beet salad, and roasted tomatoes from her garden. All wholesome, all natural. Yet for her, in the wrong amounts and timing, it was a dangerous mix. This isn't about blaming the food or making you afraid to eat vegetables. It's about understanding that after the age of 60, your body changes in ways that can make certain healthy habits work against you. The good news is, once you know which vegetables need extra caution and how to prepare and time them, you can keep enjoying them without fear. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 common vegetables that could quietly raise your stroke risk overnight. Plus, the simple changes that can keep you safe. I've spent more than 2 decades studying the brain, treating strokes, and guiding patients toward healthier lives. In that time, I've seen a pattern, too many times to ignore. Men and women who did everything right by conventional wisdom. They ate clean, they exercised, they avoided sugar. And yet, they still found themselves in my care after a stroke. What made the difference? Wasn't luck. It wasn't genetics. It wasn't some mysterious hidden disease. It was small details in their daily routines, often in the very foods they believed were helping them. For people over 60, those details matter even more. The way your body handles certain nutrients, the way your kidneys filter, and even how your blood vessels respond to natural compounds, all shift quietly with age. That's why today's video is so important. We'll go through 7 everyday vegetables you probably have in your kitchen right now, and I'll show you exactly which parts of them can pose a risk, the science behind why, and the safe adjustments that let you keep enjoying their benefits. Because the goal here isn't to take foods away from you, it's to give you control over them, so you can protect your brain, your heart, and your independence for years to come. If you're over 60 or love someone who is, I want you to stay with me until the very end of this video. By the time we finish, you'll have a clear, practical checklist you can use the next time you open your fridge or plan your meals. These aren't changes that take weeks or months to make. They're simple shifts you can start tonight. And they could mean the difference between waking up feeling rested or waking up in the emergency room. Spinach, the poster child of healthy eating. You've probably tossed it into salads, blended it into green smoothies, or steamed it alongside dinner for years. It's packed with vitamin K, folate, iron, and antioxidants. On paper, it's a superfood. But for older adults, especially over 60, there's a hidden side to spinach that's rarely talked about. One that can quietly increase stroke risk if you're not careful. The culprit is oxalate. a naturally occurring compound found in many plants. In small amounts, oxalate isn't usually a problem, but spinach happens to be one of the most concentrated sources in the human diet. When oxalate builds up, it can bind with calcium in your bloodstream, forming tiny crystals. Over time, these crystals can contribute to kidney strain, hardened arteries, or even blood clots, all of which raise your risk of a stroke. Here's where it gets more concerning. Dehydration, even mild, makes these effects worse. And dehydration is common at night for older adults, when we go hours without drinking water. If you pair that with medications like blood thinners or calcium supplements, the risk compounds quietly. You feel nothing, no pain, no dizziness, until suddenly, something goes wrong. Science backs this up. A long-term study following nearly 3,000 adults for over a decade found that people consuming 220 milligrams or more of dietary oxalate each day had a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular disease, up to 47% higher, especially when calcium intake was low. That means eating spinach alone isn't the problem, but eating large amounts without balancing it with calcium-rich foods can be. The good news is, you don't need to give up spinach entirely. You just need to prepare and pair it wisely. Cooking, steaming, sautéing, or boiling reduces oxalate content dramatically, making it easier on your kidneys and blood vessels. And as Mayo Clinic experts suggest, pairing spinach with a source of calcium, like a sprinkle of cheese or a side of yogurt, helps bind oxalates in the gut, so they leave your body instead of building up. If you enjoy spinach smoothies, consider rotating in lower oxalate greens like romaine lettuce or bok choy on some days. This not only reduces oxalate load, but also adds variety to your nutrient intake. Remember, after 60, it's not just what you eat, it's how and when you eat it. A little adjustment now can help keep your brain and heart safe for years to come. Beets, vibrant, earthy, and often celebrated as a heart-healthy superfood. They're loaded with fiber, folate, and powerful plant compounds. Maybe you've enjoyed them roasted, tossed into salads, or juiced into a bright crimson drink to help lower blood pressure. And it's true, beets can lower blood pressure. In fact, they can be so effective at it that for some older adults, they may work a little too well. The secret behind this effect is nitrate, a natural compound that your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, making it easier for blood to flow, which in turn lowers blood pressure. That's good news if your blood pressure is high. But if you're already taking blood pressure medications, especially in the evening, adding beet juice or large servings of beets can cause your blood pressure to drop too low during the night. Nighttime hypotension, low blood pressure while you sleep, can leave you dizzy when you get up, blur your vision, or even cause you to faint. In worst cases, it can reduce blood flow to the brain, increasing the risk of a mini stroke or a more severe one. Science supports this concern. A 2017 meta-analysis found that 250 milliliters of beetroot juice daily significantly lowered both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. And a 2025 study from the University of Exeter revealed something even more striking. Older adults aged 60 to 70 who drank 2 concentrated beet shots per day for 2 weeks experienced marked drops in blood pressure, thanks to changes in their oral microbiome that improved nitrate conversion. The same effect wasn't seen in younger adults, meaning seniors may be more sensitive to beets' impact. Beets also share another hidden risk with spinach. They're high in oxalates, which can strain the kidneys and contribute to crystal or stone formation over time. That's why, for older adults, moderation and timing are key. Here's how to enjoy beets safely. Limit beet juice to small amounts, and avoid drinking it late in the day, especially if you take blood pressure medication at night. Favor cooked beets over raw juice to slow nitrate absorption and reduce oxalate load. Pair beets with other vegetables to dilute the nitrate concentration. Think a mixed roasted veggie tray instead of a beet-only dish. By treating beets as a flavorful accent rather than a daily main event, you can still get their heart-supporting benefits without putting your brain at unnecessary risk. Garlic, fragrant, flavorful, and one of the oldest natural medicines in the world. For centuries, it's been praised for lowering cholesterol, boosting immunity, and improving circulation. In many homes, garlic is part of nearly every meal, sautéed with vegetables, stirred into sauces, or even eaten raw for its supposed extra potency. But here's the part most people over 60 don't realize. Garlic, especially raw garlic, is a powerful natural anticoagulant. It thins your blood. On its own, this might not be a problem. In fact, for someone with slightly thick blood, it could be beneficial. But when combined with prescription blood thinners like aspirin, warfarin, clopidogrel, or newer agents, garlic can quietly tip the balance too far. What does that mean for you? It means your blood could become so thin that even a small bump on your head, a tiny fall, or, in rare cases, even a strong cough, could trigger internal bleeding. This includes the most dangerous kind, a brain hemorrhage. The frightening part is, you might not feel anything at first. No pain, no obvious symptoms. Then suddenly, confusion, dizziness, or loss of consciousness strikes. I've seen it happen. One of my patients, a 72-year-old gentleman, took pride in eating 2 raw garlic cloves every morning for his heart. He was also on a daily aspirin. When he fainted in his garden one afternoon, scans revealed a small brain bleed. He recovered, but it was a stark reminder that even healthy foods can become risky in the wrong combinations. The good news is, you don't have to give up garlic to stay safe. Here's how. Cook it lightly. Sautéing or roasting garlic reduces its blood-thinning potency, while keeping most of its flavor and health benefits. Tell your doctor if garlic is a regular part of your diet, especially if you're on anticoagulant medication. Your dosage might need adjusting. Avoid large amounts of raw garlic daily. Save it for occasional use, rather than a daily ritual if you're already on blood thinners. Garlic remains a powerful ally for heart and brain health, but after 60, the key is to use it as a friend, not an unchecked force. A little mindful preparation can let you keep its benefits, while sidestepping its hidden risks. Eggplant, soft, spongy, and versatile. You might roast it with olive oil, layer it into a hearty lasagna, or grill it alongside summer vegetables. It's mild, low in calories, and full of antioxidants like niacin, which supports brain health. On the surface, it seems like one of the safest vegetables you could eat. But eggplant belongs to the nightshade family, along with tomatoes, potatoes, and peppers, and it contains a natural compound called solanine. In small amounts, solanine isn't usually a problem, but in sensitive individuals, especially older adults with circulation issues, high blood pressure, or neurological conditions, solanine may cause your blood vessels to constrict. This narrowing, known as vasoconstriction, reduces blood flow to vital organs, including the brain. When less blood reaches the brain, the risk of small clots forming increases. For someone with already narrowed arteries, this can raise the chance of mini-strokes, or even larger ones, over time. Some older adults have reported feeling lightheaded, foggy, or unusually tired after a heavy eggplant meal, without realizing why. The risk isn't just theoretical. While research on solanine's direct impact in humans is limited, we do know its effects on the nervous and vascular systems can be more pronounced in those with compromised health, a group that often includes people over 60. And unlike certain dietary risks, there's no obvious warning signal before the damage is done. The safest way to enjoy eggplant is to treat it like an occasional pleasure, rather than a frequent staple. Here's how. Never eat eggplant raw. Cooking helps break down some of the solanine and reduces its potency. Limit frequency. Once or twice a week is generally safe for most people, especially if you have no circulation issues. Balance your plate. Pair eggplant with circulation-friendly vegetables like carrots, squash, or pumpkin, which support healthy blood flow without the vasoconstrictive risk. Eggplant can absolutely stay on your menu, but in moderation. For older adults, the key is to give your blood vessels every chance to stay open and flexible. And that means knowing when a favorite food might need a lighter touch. If garlic and eggplant caught you off guard, just wait until you hear about the vegetable. That could quietly push your blood pressure higher while you sleep, and it's probably sitting in your fridge right now. Soybean sprouts, small, crisp, and often seen as a symbol of freshness. They show up in stir-fries, soups, and salads, and they're especially popular in Asian-inspired dishes, packed with protein, fiber, and vitamins. They seem like a perfect choice for a light, healthy meal. But there's a side to soybean sprouts that older adults, especially women over 60, should know about. These sprouts are rich in phytoestrogens, plant-based compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. While phytoestrogens aren't inherently harmful, they can subtly influence hormone balance for postmenopausal women or those already taking hormone replacement therapy. This shift can sometimes tip the body toward increased blood clot risk. Men aren't entirely in the clear either. Long-term, excessive intake of phytoestrogens could potentially affect metabolism or certain hormone-sensitive conditions. While these effects are subtle and often slow to develop, they matter more as we age. When the body's ability to maintain balance is less forgiving. There's also an indirect concern. Changes in clotting risk can interact with existing health conditions, like atrial fibrillation, a history of deep vein thrombosis, or high stroke risk. For someone already on blood-thinning medications, the hormonal influence of large amounts of soy sprouts may amplify or complicate the medication's effect. The safest way to keep soybean sprouts on your plate is to treat them like a seasoning or side, not the star of the dish. Here's how. Always cook them lightly. Stir-frying or blanching helps reduce phytoestrogen activity, compared to eating them raw. Moderate your portion. A small handful in a stir-fry or soup is fine, but avoid large servings every single day. Check with your doctor if you're on hormone therapy or clot-related medications. They can monitor your blood and adjust treatment if needed. Soybean sprouts aren't a food to fear, but a food to respect. After 60, the goal isn't to cut out everything you love. It's to understand the details that help you keep enjoying it, without adding hidden risks to your plate. Pickled vegetables, tangy, crunchy, and for many of us, a nostalgic comfort. Whether it's homemade cucumber pickles, jars of sauerkraut, or a side of kimchi, they bring bold flavor to the table. They also seem harmless. After all, they're just vegetables, right? The hidden challenge with pickled vegetables is sodium. The pickling process relies on salt, and while that helps preserve the food, it can leave you with a single serving containing 800 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium, nearly half the daily limit recommended for older adults. For someone over 60, especially those with high blood pressure or heart disease, that much sodium in one sitting can create real trouble. Here's why. When you eat salty foods, your body holds onto water to maintain the right balance in your blood. This extra fluid increases blood volume, which in turn raises blood pressure. Younger bodies can adapt quickly, but as we age, our blood vessels become less flexible, and our kidneys less efficient at clearing sodium. That means a sodium spike can push blood pressure higher and keep it elevated for hours, sometimes overnight. High nighttime blood pressure is particularly dangerous. It's strongly linked to stroke risk, especially because it happens when you're least aware of it. You can go to bed feeling perfectly fine, yet wake up with slurred speech, weakness on one side, or, in the most severe cases, not wake up at all. The solution isn't to give up your favorite pickles entirely, but to be smart about how and when you eat them. Make your own low-sodium versions. You can keep the flavor, but cut the salt dramatically. Avoid eating them late at night. Timing matters, and your body is more sensitive to salt's effects during evening hours. Read the labels. If buying store-bought, choose brands with the lowest sodium per serving. Pickled vegetables can still have a place in your diet, but after 60, they should be an occasional accent, not an everyday habit. By controlling sodium intake, you protect your blood vessels, your heart, and your brain from silent, overnight damage. Tomatoes, bright, juicy, and often celebrated as one of the healthiest foods you can eat. They're rich in vitamin C, antioxidants like lycopene, and they add flavor to countless dishes, from fresh salads to hearty pasta sauces. For decades, they've been promoted as a heart-healthy staple. But for people over 60, tomatoes carry a hidden risk that has nothing to do with their acidity or seeds. The issue is potassium. Tomatoes, especially in concentrated forms like tomato paste, sauce, or juice, are high in potassium, a mineral that's essential for nerve and muscle function. Under normal circumstances, potassium helps regulate heart rhythm. But when the kidneys aren't working at full strength, something that happens naturally with age, and is even more common in people with high blood pressure or diabetes, potassium can build up in the blood. Too much potassium, a condition called hyperkalemia, can cause irregular heartbeats, muscle weakness, and in severe cases can lead to sudden cardiac arrest or stroke. The tricky part is, high potassium levels often cause no obvious symptoms until they become dangerous. You might feel a bit more tired than usual, or notice your heart skipping a beat. Or you might feel nothing at all until a serious event occurs. This risk isn't limited to fresh tomatoes. A small glass of tomato juice or a serving of tomato soup can contain as much or more potassium than a large raw tomato. And because juices and sauces are concentrated, it's easy to take in a large dose without realizing it. Here's how to keep enjoying tomatoes safely. Cook them. Cooking reduces potassium content per serving and boosts lycopene absorption, giving you more of its antioxidant benefit. Watch your portion sizes. A few slices in a salad or sandwich is fine. But daily large servings of juice or sauce may be too much if your kidney function is borderline. Check with your doctor. If you've been told to watch your potassium levels, ask whether tomatoes need to be limited. Tomatoes can absolutely remain part of a healthy diet. The key after 60 is knowing your kidney health, controlling your portions, and balancing them with other vegetables. So you get all the benefits without the silent risks. After 60, your body isn't breaking down, it's adapting. The way your kidneys filter minerals, the way your blood vessels respond to certain compounds, even how your digestion handles plant chemicals, it all shifts quietly over time. Foods that once gave you nothing but benefits can still be good for you, but they may require a little more attention to timing, portion size, and preparation. This isn't about fearing spinach, beets, or tomatoes. It's about understanding them. When you know the science and you know your own body, you take back control. You can still enjoy your favorite flavors, share family recipes, and feel confident that your meals are supporting, not silently undermining, your brain, your heart, and your independence. Think of it as upgrading your habits, not restricting your life. Small, thoughtful changes today can mean more years of sharp thinking, strong movement, and the freedom to live life on your own terms. If today's video helped you see your kitchen in a new light, give it a like so more people can find it. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever noticed unusual symptoms after eating certain vegetables? Have you made changes to your diet that improved your blood pressure, your circulation, or your energy? Share your story in the comments. You never know who might read it, and realize they're not alone. Let's turn this into a place where people over 60 and those who care for them can swap real experiences, support each other, and learn how to keep our brains and hearts strong for the long run. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Golden Wellness 365 for more simple science-based tips designed with seniors in mind. Your health deserves clarity, not confusion, and we're here to give you exactly that.